So when I first started understanding this idea of community in Oak Cliff, it was really it started at the church level, and then it just branched out. I realized, there's so many cool people here. I remember, Matt Spillers gave me the keys to Eno's. Literally gave me the keys and said, "Hey, take your brew club upstairs, man. Y'all can brew beer." This is probably completely illegal, but I'm sure it's passed.
Welcome to the Hidden City Podcast. I'm Grant.
And I'm Doug, and we're here to share some of the incredible stories and people from Oak Cliff that you might not know.
We're going to sit down with some of the visionaries, craftsmen, and business owners who have shaped Oak Cliff into what it is today.
Oak Cliff is on the south bank of the Trinity River, a few miles south of downtown Dallas. While technically it was part of Dallas, it was its own city for a long time, and it still has that independent spirit.
We'll dive into the history and the spirit of this place, exploring the different challenges and successes that defined it.
This is The Hidden City, a podcast about the people and the stories that make Oak Cliff extraordinary.
Welcome to this episode of the Hidden City Podcast. Today we are here with Wes Keyes, who's the CEO of Brother Bill. Welcome to the show, Wes.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I'm excited to be here.
This is awesome, Wes.
It's a pleasure. It was fun running into you at Encina the other day, and
I know, and I forced you to let me be on the podcast.
Not at all.
No.
You were on our list, so it was serendipitous.
Oh.
But yeah, we always love to hear kind of how you landed here in Oak Cliff, and maybe we were reminiscing on some fun stories earlier about the early days of Brew Riot and other things like Mardi Gras Parade.
Yeah.
Tell us how you got here.
Yeah, so I am from a little town called Laurel, Mississippi, the Free State of Jones, if you're familiar with the Matthew McConaughey thriller.
Okay.
Now we're known for a little show called Hometown, and those are some of our friends. Aaron and Ben do this show, Hometown. So, Laurel, Mississippi, real popular, real famous.
Awesome.
I'm not that famous, but I'm from a famous place, I guess. I left Laurel. I went to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and studied religion and Spanish and played baseball, private little art school called William Carey University. Graduated there, made my way to Waco, down to Baylor, home of Chip and Joanna. So we got two very famous HGTV
You
shout-outs.
ended up in the famous towns.
Maybe
You said
me.
Hattiesburg?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I met the mayor there once.
Oh, look at
Did
you.
you what? Okay,
Man.
love that.
This guy.
I'm sitting in presence of some
Well,
celebrities right now.
Went to Baylor and did seminary there, studied global missions, and thought I was going to go be a missionary overseas and live kind of Indiana Jones life for Jesus. But things changed and ended up in Dallas, Texas. And first got to Dallas, we were in Farmers Branch. And so I was a minister of missions, minister of youth at a small little church called First Baptist Farmers Branch. The oldest Baptist church in Dallas, matter of fact. So it's kind of cool to be there. Under leadership of a guy named Sam Underwood. Really great time. I did 4 years of youth ministry, and I said, I'm out. I'm not doing this no more. So came back down, and we moved into, about 2006, we moved into, I guess about far south Oak Cliff as you could be without being in Duncanville.
Okay.
So we were right off Camp Wisdom. It's still Dallas. I don't know if it was considered Oak Cliff, but not too far from a place called The Woods in Duncanville. We're still in Dallas County, or city of Dallas, rather. And then I started going to school at a little place called Wycliffe. I was going to be a Bible translator. That's what I love. Greek, I love Hebrew, love languages. They're really what I was going to do. So I thought, again, I was going to go do all this stuff. And I ended up going to church at a place called Cliff Temple Baptist Church. My wife and I, she got into medical school at Southwestern. She'd finished her schooling, then she got into children's. And so we tried to come a place. Now it's my turn to do my schooling.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, turned out we still were going to church at Cliff Temple. I was trying to take my classes, get this master's degree, work on a PhD in linguistics, easy for me to say, and just didn't work out. Had a professor pass away. Classes wouldn't make. It just wasn't. It wasn't in the cards. Yeah. And ended up at Cliff Temple, and lo and behold, I got on staff at a place called the Well Community, which is still a ministry that my wife and I support today. Helping out folks with severe and debilitating mental illness. Wow. And then the church had a position open up, so I had 2 part-time jobs, working at the church in Oak Cliff and working with the ministry in Oak Cliff. And they kind of mirrored each other and helped each other, and they were in the same building, so it kind of worked out. Fast forward a couple months later, about a year later, and I became full-time on the staff at the church. And that's kind of how I really got ingrained into the community of Oak Cliff, was through my work here, and started in 2006. Met a lot of great people. We tried to grow the Sunday school class, and I was like, the young hip guy on staff at that time. Not anymore. I'm getting close to 50, so it's looking a little different now. But I was like, what can we do to draw this? I mean, we love the community. We love to go down to Hattie's and have beautiful dinners, and like Tillman's was down there at that time. And I mean, Eno's was like a staple. We came here right when it opened, I think, and there was a Cosmo Rouge or something lounge there, and then Eno's opened, and we were like, this is our hang. This is so great.
This is going to be the spot.
Yeah.
You could tell.
You're like, how do we brew beer up here?
Well,
we'll get there.
So I was like, then we started trying to find out ways to outreach to the community. Yeah. And that's kind of when we started brewing beer in Sunday school.
There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell us that story. Yeah, you were just catching up on that.
So a good buddy of mine, Greg Lefwich, shout out to Four Corners Brew and Oak Cliff Brewing.
Yeah. Look at that. There's plenty of room for everybody.
There is. It's a big market, or it's shrinking, but whatever. When we get into that.
It's great. It's great.
But Greg and I just had an idea of like, what if we had an outreach to minister to folks and bring people in to the church who were like, kind of like, used to go to church, but like, you're fuddy-duddies, whatever. And, monks brewed beer. Like, this is an ancient practice. Jesus made water into wine in John chapter 2. So what is this? Let's figure this out. Yeah. So we started our, little brew club. And then Matt Spillers and Amy Cowan and all those fun people that, and I just listened to Amy's podcast on here. They started this thing called Brew Riot. And I mean, we were like, let's do it. We just started, hadn't been in a year. All of our beer labels were old pastors of Cliff Temple. We took pictures of the Hall of Memories. There's like 15 pastors there. And so we slapped there. I had a brother-in-law, and he was an artist. And so Wallace Bassett, awesome. This unbelievable pioneer of faith in Dallas who fought for the temperance movement in Oak Cliff. He was slapped on our first label with a beautiful little Santa hat. And that Christmas stout won us in the Brew Riot. We got People's Choice Award.
Oh, man.
And second place overall. We lost to Greg and George, who started Four Corners, for the first place, but we won the People's Championship, which all really mattered to us.
That's the only thing that matters. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, people's favorite. So we started that, kept that going for a little while. It's really funny. My buddy Greg started Four Corners. Another buddy started working with Greg. And then another buddy started into the brewing industry, still there today, and is a distributor working for Country Malt Group with Toby Tucker.
Yeah,
shout out
we
to
know Country Malt.
And Toby's a great friend of mine. And if you need a discount on malt, I'm just kidding. I don't think
we'll talk afterwards.
But all of them are in the brewing industry, except for me. I stayed in the ministry and stayed doing this work. But that's early memories of Oak Cliff, and especially like Brew Riot, man. It just like, this is a different kind of community.
Yeah.
This is something, these people care about good food. They care about good beer. They care about helping people. They care about loving their community and loving their neighbor, as Jesus said, as himself. And so for me, it was like, this is my people. This is my tribe.
Today's show is brought to you by Oak Cliff Brewing Co. Are you interested in unwinding and connecting with neighbors over a great beer? Then go visit Oak Cliff Brewing Co. They've got a great tap room with all sorts of great beers on tap. It's a full production brewery here in the heart of Oak Cliff. Visit oakcliffbrewing.com to find out what's on tap right now and where you can find fresh beer made right here in Oak Cliff. And that was 2006, 2007 time frame right there. I mean, you hear stories about Brew Riot.
Oh, by the way, if you go upstairs in Eno's, go upstairs. I'm at the very top. I look a lot younger. I'm sitting there in a green shirt and holding we won the mug, the golden mug.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We need a golden mug at Oak Cliff Brewing. I just love it because it is one of those kind of things that you'll hear stories about all the time from people even today.
It's moments.
Happened many years ago. Yeah. But it was a moment for sure. Even Oak Cliff Brewing finds its...
Bring back Brew Riot. Bring back Brew Riot.
There you go.
Let's do it. Why not?
Well, I know we've talked a little bit about Brother Bill. Can you kind of tell us about the organization and just so people know?
So I left Cliff Temple and I went to work for another nonprofit. In about 2015, I left Cliff Temple and went for another nonprofit. And really liked it. It's a West Dallas-based nonprofit. They do some work in Oak Cliff as well. It's called ACT, Advocates for Community Transformation. Really liked the job, and I really wasn't looking to leave. But what was so fascinating about my life is every in every facet, I've been asked to be a leader. I mentioned the well community. I was president of that board. I was president of my homeowner association. I was president of, things at church or leaders. But in my career, I was always like a manager. I was always like the second fiddle. And I was like, I'm supposed to be something different, I think. And then I never would say yes to those, or I would never pursue those positions until literally Brad Schwall. Brad is a dear friend of mine. He runs the Center for Integrative Counseling Psychology. He was on the search committee for Brother Bill's, and he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, you know anybody be interested in this job for the CEO, executive director position?" I was like, man, I'll look. Finally, he called me. I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
And 8 years later, I'm still here working at Brother Bill's. So tell you a little bit about the ministry of Brother Bill's. Brother Bill was a fascinating character. He was a drinking partner of Bonnie and Clyde. Can't make this up. Whoa. And as you know, they're in West Dallas and have Oak Cliff and West Dallas roots. And he was a man with a thorough education. He was a womanizer, a gambler, a fighter, a drunk. Like, he was not a great dude.
Yeah.
But in 1939, he had a come to Jesus moment and really changed his life around. Fellow, with only third grade education, all those things I just mentioned, the Baptists said, "You know what we're going to do? We're going to give you a church, sir." And so they did. And they made him pastor of a little church, a little mission church. And he started realizing that he didn't just need to preach the gospel, but he also needed to, do it. And so he started out handing out shoes. He was known for handing out these Buster Brown shoes to all the kids in West Dallas. And Oak Cliff, too, in the bottoms. Yeah. He worked in the bottoms, too. And then he was known for passing out gifts during Christmas time. And then, of course, food. In 1953, along with Lou Sterrett, dedicated a clinic in the area. And so this man's legacy lives on again. He died in 1976. Miss Juanita Bay took the ministry over. And then my predecessor, Suzanne Griffin, came in. So we've only had 4 executive directors, CEOs in the 82-year history of Brother Bill's. Wow. And I'm fortunate to be number 4. In that time, we've grown quite a bit. Things have changed so much in West Dallas. There's been gentrification, as you guys know, gentrification in Oak Cliff. However, when I came there in 2017, we were serving one zip code, 75212, which is the West Dallas primary zip code. When I came in, the board said, "Hey, we've seen a precipitous decline in the amount of people we're serving, so what are you going to do about that?" And I was like, "Well, you guys have driven on the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, haven't you? You've seen that Four Corners Brewery just went in over there. You saw that Romano,
Trinity Groves,
it's all gone. Like, it's over. Once you see gentrification, as a community organizer once told me, it's too late. Like, it's already taken root." And so I said, we've got to open up to more zip codes. And so we did. Without any fanfare, without any marketing. Yeah. We just said yes, started saying yes. And we have a mantra at Brother Bill's, we say yes. Because Jesus said yes. We like to say yes. We're big fans of yes. And we slowly grew. Today we serve over 200 zip codes, and we have 7 different locations around the Metroplex. Wow. But our number 1 zip code is in Oak Cliff, 75211, which goes Oak Cliff and Cockrell Hill, that area, right just east of Hampton. But, that's kind of my story of where I am now and how we've grown the work and how we're just thankful for the volunteers and people that have helped us get to that.
Man, awesome. I mean, what a story. Tell us about some of the people that you get to serve. Like, I imagine this work is not easy work. There's people that are struggling or facing poverty. What does that look like day to day for Brother Bill? Yeah,
so we serve, I would say, the working poor families of Dallas County. And we minister to the entire city of Dallas. That's part of our mission statement. We don't discriminate based on zip code or anything else. So there are the working poor families. Those families who, without us, could be facing homelessness. They could be facing malnutrition. They could be facing food insecurity. All those different things that come along with facing poverty. They could be evicted from their properties. We deal with that. But it's mainly working poor families, children. Most of our clients, we don't say clients, we actually say the word neighbors. It's a softer sell for us, but also it's a biblical metaphor, also a Mr. Rogers metaphor. And we work with those neighbors to make sure they have all the things they need to survive. So that is the essentials of life, right? So let's imagine that a neighbor doesn't have access to food, or it's just so expensive now. We've all bought food lately; it's very expensive. Or they don't have access to health care or mental health care, or they can't afford diapers or formula. Or imagine even worse that the kids like going to school has no school supplies, or even they're about to get kicked out of their apartment. They have rent, they have a place to live. We come in and do those essential life programs and projects, but then we move towards empowerment. And that's really the bread and butter of what we do. ESL, GED, Pathways Job Training Program, after school program. We have a dozen or so camps going on right now. All kind of things that just pour back into the person, whether it's a financial catalyst program or financial literacy program, infusing money, infusing education into these people so that they can go start a business, they can take care of their car note, so that they can have that just little breath and move towards the next part, which is enrichment. Enrich lives with people's faith, family, fitness, and finance. These families, if they experience the stuff that we do, they're able to see success, and we lose them to that success, which is the real key here. I have 11 people on my staff right now who came through our job training program, and that really is why I get up every morning, because I see people that they're no longer eligible to get food from us. And we've sent out people. My wife's hired some at her pediatric practice. They've hired some in our other nonprofit partners. We've sent some to some corporate partners. This is what it's all about, moving people out of that and getting them to where they don't need us anymore, right? That's the way we can be the best neighbor.
That's awesome. I mean, it almost seems like you've created like a network, or you're building off of even this network. We definitely heard, feels like Brother Bill's has been like an unsung hero in West Dallas, and like it's not a big flashy thing, but it's like, hey, we're here to help. And I wonder, like, having so much time in a certain area, you get to know these connections and these needs and these people. Like, what I guess, like, how do you take on those requests, or how do you like filter those needs in a little bit from neighbors?
Yeah, it's hard because you want to be all things to all people.
I was going to say, there's so many ways you're serving people.
That's what I'm...
And we're a dying breed, okay? Most people want, and they're nonprofit, they want to specialize. So, like, okay, we see a need here for mental health. We're going to touch that, right? Or we see here, like, dogs and rescue, right? We see here that
it's very niche or specialized.
And by the way, it's easier to get funding that way.
Sure,
I bet. Versus just like, hey, we're a neighborhood helper.
And what's funny is we actually do a spay and neuter clinic twice a year.
There you go.
We do so many ridiculous.
But you're addressing like holistically everything that happens in a
imagine you come
life.
Into a place, right, and you're suffering from poverty, and you're like, hey, I can't afford food for my children. Rent's due, and I can't pay it. Would you like to go to 6 places, or would you like to go to just one?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's kind of what we try to do, to be all things to all people. But we have to suss out the needs, right?
Yeah.
So to just understand what it takes to get service from Brother Bill's, to get food from you have to be 180% of the poverty level. So I'll let you look that up. There's a formula for that, and it changes every year based upon the poverty level. So it's not like everybody gets to come in.
No,
So when I tell you that people are needing the help, I want you to hear me say this, all right? Think about this. During the pandemic, we thought this is the worst it's ever going to be. We had lines, weren't taking anybody inside. We had car lines wrapped around Singleton, down Westmoreland. It was terrible. But those were the worst times we thought we'd ever see. In 2020, we did 1.3 million meals, equating to about 1.5 million pounds of food. Think about that for a second. Last year, I did 2.7 million meals. 3.3 million pounds of food out our doors. Okay, so things are getting worse for some people in poverty. I don't be doom and gloom over here.
No,
but
I mean, the numbers don't lie. It's an honest assessment.
What we serve. Now we've grown. We've added more places, and so people have more access to it. But even our main campus, those numbers have grown. We're up 20% this year.
Okay.
So over last year, which was our highest year ever.
People are hurting.
So. They're hurting, man. They just need some help, and it doesn't help. Inflation actually was worse than the pandemic, quite frankly.
Yeah.
In terms of people having access to goods. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like everybody's hearing this or feeling this themselves, and in their own ways. Like, it's maybe not quite to that extent, but you hear reports about credit cards being at their highest maxed out rates lately, and in history or whatever. Seems like the last few years have not been good to a lot of people, but.
They haven't, and we want to talk about healthcare. That's another thing. We have a full clinic on site.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, our clinic is a primary care clinic, so it's a really terrible model for making money. If you're wondering, free and charitable clinics are really expensive.
Yeah.
And our clientele, guess what they don't have? Insurance.
Yeah,
so that's only people that they see.
Yeah.
It's a really terrible model, but it's reaching the real need.
Yeah.
So what's fascinating we find about the people coming to our clinic is that they have jobs. Most of them have jobs. They have, but they just can't take care of some of these really, really reoccurring problematic conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and the like. Yeah. And so we come and meet them where they are and try to get a plan with them. And then we've seen some really incredible numbers. A1C numbers dropping down. We're about 70% of our neighbors that come to our clinic are an A1C under 7, which may not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but it's a big deal. Those kind of things really matter in people's lives. And we just got recognized by the American Heart Association as their Dallas Partner of the Year. So we get to celebrate on that. We're making big strides in our clinic. Yeah. And what we found, though, is people neglect their health so much in communities that are experiencing poverty. And we're trying to get there to bring awareness, to tell people, hey, come on in. It's okay.
Yeah, just come. Yeah, how do you take the stigma away?
And we've also seen a drop in the people coming to our clinic. I think some scare from immigration stuff that's happened, because you can imagine we serve a lot of immigrant communities that are worried about what's going on. Many of them have their papers, but they're still worried. Like they come in with their, you got all your documentation, you're fine, but I'm still worried.
Still this anxiety about uncertainty about the future.
Anxiety. And then we do eye exams as well. Wow. As you can imagine, with diabetes comes diabetic retinopathy, which is a real big, it's really difficult for folks to lose their eyesight. And so we provide eyeglasses, we provide eye exams, and all those different things that folks need. And literally at a fraction of the cost or completely free, depending on their makeup. What's interesting is I mentioned that 180% of the poverty level, only about 13% of the people that come to our clinic are eligible to get food from us because they have good jobs, they have no insurance. And so where would they end up? They would end up in Parkland, they would end up in Methodist, they would end up in Baylor, they would end up in somebody's ER in their ED system, and they would not be able to pay for it, and then it would make all the other prices of healthcare go up. It's a revolving cycle. And so invest in Brother Bill's clinic. We really love it.
Well, you tell us how it works, because I hear you saying, like, hey, it's not a good model, but obviously it's reaching the right people where the need is probably the greatest.
Yes.
How does it work?
Yeah, we're privately funded. Okay. I get very little. I got a little bit of government money in the last couple of years through the ARPA fund, but we don't take much government money. We're privately funded. So we have two big fundraisers every year. Our Clay Shoot. Shout out to M Fork and everybody that sponsors it. And Encina Restaurant in Oak Cliff, who caters our Clay Shoot every year. If you think Matt Balke's great at Encina, come see him do our Clay Shoot. It's the best. He's his best work.
That's awesome.
And he knows that. He knows
his
that.
Best work.
By the way, Matt also does our masquerade ball that we do, and he did Cajun food last year that was out of this world.
Oh, that's awesome. They do excellent stuff.
It's great. And they got a new pancake mix out at HEB. Go find it at your local HEB.
Amazing. Look at that. Find it at HEB.
So people come to donate to me through those two big events, right? And then North Texas Giving Day, which is coming up in September. And then they also I get family foundations. I write grants to places like, different foundations, whether it's the Reese Jones Foundation, the Meadows Foundation, all those big, huge foundations that you guys have all heard of. They help support our work in different ways. The Morningstar Foundation. I could go on and on talking about the different foundations that support our work. Without them, we wouldn't be able to. But so much what we do is through individual donors. They bring money in.
That's awesome.
Now, for our clinic, what we do is we try to put a little skin in the game. We want the people that come to our clinic to be able to say, okay, I'm taking care of my health care. And what they do is you're on a sliding scale. All right, what's your income? Your income's this? Okay, well, your visit's going to cost you $50.
I see. Yeah.
Which is super cheap, by the way. But that's the max somebody could pay at our clinic is $50. The least they could pay is $0 because if they have no income whatsoever. So we don't turn anyone away from our clinic. But that's how we do what we do. Clinic costs about $1 million a year to run. It's not very cheap, but what it is vital to our neighbors' health. And we've shown efficacy. We've been in grants with places like our friends at THR, Texas Health Resources. We're partners, big partners with UT Southwestern. They provide all our doctors and our nurse practitioner. We've worked with Baylor. We've worked with Methodist. We've worked with all the big hospital systems, and we love. And Children's Hospital actually comes and does cooking classes for us. So we try to be this holistic group that works with all the. I like to say all the hospitals get along at Brother Bill's clinic.
That's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking about how you said you were always felt leadership calling you, and you stepped into this role. And you just celebrated 8 years in May as the CEO, running Brother Bill. That's got to be a heavy position. I imagine that's not a small endeavor, and to do it for 8 years is also an impressive accomplishment. So tell us how you as a leader manage that not only that stress level, but also just how do you lead and effectively in a place like that?
Lots of prayer. I'm a Christian, as we've talked about, and so I really believe that God's called me this position, and that I try my best to rely on that. But man, I've got so many good group of friends. I've got so many of it's crazy the amount of people that are in my life who are CEOs of organizations or leaders that we've just kind of become friends and become connected.
Yeah.
Whether it's my friend Adam Spears, or my friend Ryan and Cindy Jagey, or my friend Matt Rosen. Like these people have been in my life for a reason, and they're leaders in their industry, leaders of their business. And y'all had Chad Dolezal on the other day, and it's one of our favorite places in the world. I listened to him talk about leadership.
Yeah.
And, man, the humility that guy has about leading that restaurant, and he just it's everybody else doing it. And that's one thing I think I listen to those things of just giving credit to other people and empowering others to do the same. It takes the burden off of you, man, and it allows people to become who they're created to be as well. I was micromanaged a lot in my life as an employee, not at every business, but at some of the places I worked, and I hated it because I was a creative person. I had my own ideas. I was a hard worker. I was going to go do the thing. And when you micromanage me and put me in a box, it was either because you were jealous of the success I was having, or else you didn't trust me, and either one was not a good place to work. So if I have somebody that I'm jealous of, or don't worry, I just fire them. I'm just kidding, I don't fire them. No, but I've learned to just not be jealous. God, I love other people getting the spotlight in an organization. Our CEO, Courtney Cuthbert, is a rock star. But I think of all of our directors. I mean, everything they do, I just want them to go get the accolades, right?
There's something awesome about finding the right person and putting them in that spot and seeing them thrive. It's pretty awesome.
It's beautiful.
I agree. I feel like Chad did a great job of just it wasn't like a false humility of just brushing off, but he always was championing the people at his.
He's a leader, and he's just there making a fun environment. But man, that is such an intentional thing he does. I mean, it's not easy.
And by the way, you have to be intentional about it. And what I've learned is, and my staff knows this, and I will tell them, well, what do you think? I'm like, well, look at it, think about it, and figure it out. It's an old axiom from my seminary professor, but I really believe it. If I can teach you to look at it yourself, think about it, and figure it out, and you go, this is what I can. I'm like, well, great, go do it. And then when I started doing that at Brother Bill's, employees were like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's yours. Go take it.
I trust you. There's some trust there. Yeah,
I can go do the thing. I'm like, you can.
Yeah,
it's
totally so freeing. It's so freeing.
And I yearn for that, for me and for them to have a space to be creative. Yeah. We wouldn't. I mean, I think about Adriana. Adriana has started about 20 different programs at Brother Bill's. I don't even know all we have. But she's a Hispanic female that knows the community, that grew up in this community. Understand why in the world would I try to not let her run free?
Right.
I think about Laurel and how much she's grown our after school program. I think about Blaine. He's got gardens everywhere. I hate gardens. I've done community gardens. Mariana Griggs and I did gardens. Love you, Mariana, but I don't want to do Griggs anymore. I don't want to do gardens anymore. And so I think about Ivan and what he's done with the clinic. Man, I think about Maria, and we have now a social services program that never even existed before. Yeah. And I think about all of this work that goes on together. Yeah. And it's not mine.
Yeah. It's like a beautiful collection of people. Yeah.
And it's really not mine because I'm a nonprofit guy, and you can't sell a nonprofit or have any equity. I have no equity in this nonprofit.
Unless you're saying Altman.
Yeah. Right. But the idea of a good leader to me is someone, and this is a quote from Lao Tzu, and he says this. He says, of the best leaders it is said, when the people have finished the work and it is done, he will say, "You did it." Or the people will say, "We did it," and he'll go, "Yeah, you did. You did it."
Yeah.
And there's no false pretense there.
Yeah.
There's no false humility there.
Right.
It's true admiration for people's talent and love.
Hey, Doug. So this is an ad, but we are actually sitting in the podcast studio at Waxbase that is available for people to use.
We want people to know. You can get a podcast membership at Waxbase. It's $180 a month. It comes with studio time. Or you could also just rent studio time, $60 an hour. And then we also have, Grant, we're putting a little special together. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we've got a 15% off special exclusive to the Hidden City podcast. So if you use the code Hidden City 15, Hidden City 15, we will get you 15% off. And it's great. Yeah. It's turnkey. You walk in, all the equipment is there for you to use. It is super easy to get up and going. So if you're a little intimidated, you don't need to be. It's there, it's ready, and it's there for you to enjoy. So if you go to the waxspace.com/podcast studio, you can find out more.
Start your own podcast. Start recording in here. We built this for people to come in and do this, so we're excited. Okay, Wes, so you are the commissioner for District 1 on homelessness. You got appointed that. Tell us, how has that been? I know it's a heavy topic.
Well, I know y'all talked to Chad a little bit, and all I can say is never call out Chad in a fundraiser meeting, because he'll put you on a board or a commission. And I love Chad, and we support him quite a bit, and glad he's our councilman. I got to tell you this, homelessness was something I experienced, not personally, but I experienced it when I was working at Cliff Temple. We had a ton of people that were coming to the Well community or coming to Mission Oak Cliff at the time who were experiencing homelessness, and man, just broke my heart. It still breaks my heart to see one of my neighbors experiencing that. But trying to do it at a policy level, trying to do it as part of a commission, and realizing this commission, what kind of power do I really have? What is I'm literally listening to the Office for Homeless Solutions, and I'm listening to people at the bridge, and I'm listening to the Homeless Alliance, and I'm listening to these folks, and I'm like, we don't pay them enough, number one. But number two, this is a terrible problem, and our numbers aren't right. We have this pit count, and we do the pit count because it's nationally required to get funding to do this stuff. But we have more homeless people than we think we do. We don't have enough shelters. We don't have enough nonprofits out there helping the problem. But we don't really have a solution. The Office of Home Solution, I do believe they're doing their dead level best to control. But I don't know that you can ever change a person's heart. Do you make homelessness illegal? That seems really cruel and unusual. Right. But at the same time, is how do you love your neighbor the best? We talked about neighbors, and I think that's one thing we think about all the time, Brother Bills, is how do we, one of our core values at Brother Bills is dignity. So when a neighbor walks into our first core value is Christ-centeredness, but the next one is dignity. When a neighbor walks in there, I don't care what they smell like. I don't care what clothes they have on. I don't care if they're driving a Rolls Royce or if they pushing a shopping cart. We want to treat them as if they're Jesus himself walking in, our king or queen walking in our door. I want to try to do the same thing for the people that I represent in District 1 who are experiencing homelessness. How do we do that well? I wish I had an answer for you guys. I wish I had something Yeah. But I'm learning, man. Yeah. I'm learning, and I've been in this work. I've been doing ministry since I was 17 years old, and I'm 48 right now. And I've seen homelessness everywhere from El Salvador to Egypt, from Dallas County to Denton. It's not going anywhere. There's nothing we can do to make it illegal or to it exists because brokenness exists, because poverty exists, because systems exist, because mental illness exists, because drug use exists. Right. We can't just say, oh, it's this. They need housing. They need this. We have to tackle it from a holistic perspective, almost a very nuanced perspective, and say each individual case is its very own. I think of my friend Wayne Walker, my friend Daniel Roby, who deal with this all the time at Austin Street and Our Calling. Those guys are doing yeoman's work and making sure that people are taken care of, that experiences, and they're finding housing. Go look at their numbers. We have some solutions out there that do work, and they're very smart men doing this. My job at Brother Bill is to keep people off of that. Yeah. And as commissioner, my job is to hold accountable those people who are in our city government and who get public funds to say, are you doing the best you can do? And I got to say, I haven't been terribly disappointed. I've been awestruck at how much they do. Another thing I would tell all your listeners is, if you really want to talk about homelessness, go volunteer at the bridge one day. Go check it out. Mm-hmm. Go volunteer at with Brenda, my fellow Baylor Bear, Sickle Bear Brenda, over at the Stew Pot.
Sickle Bear Brenda.
That's a good piece of advice.
Stew Pot.
Go see what it looks like.
100%. And another thing you can do is you can ask for a ride around. Go out, call the City of Homeless Solutions, call Chad, and say, hey, can we do a homeless ride? I want to see what's really going on in my community. It'll blow your mind. I've been to places I was like, I drive by that all the time. It's called the Hidden City Podcast. There's a hidden city of homelessness all around us. And so we can't ignore that.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot. Yeah, and I appreciate your honesty and like, hey, there's no easy answer here.
It's not like hey, do this thing and we're good. It's
It's all most of life. Duh.
Yeah.
I wish things were easier.
I wish we had it. Yeah.
So shifting gears a little bit, I mean, obviously you can tell that you care about Oak Cliff. You care about the people, the community, and I think you've found community here that, a lot of people will say they found an awesome community in Oak Cliff. Yeah. But tell us a little bit about your experience of the Oak Cliff community, being ingrained in it now for so many years.
Yeah. Before I kind of talk about the history of it, I just went back and, I talked about some of our fundraisers we have. Yeah. We looked at our masquerade ball we had last year, right before Mardi Gras, by the way.
There we go.
We'll have
Which,
it
by the way,
yeah.
This guy has been in every single Mardi Gras parade.
Every single Oak Cliff Mardi Gras
That's
parade.
amazing.
He deserves an award for that.
The only one I missed, and I actually sat on somebody's porch and watched, is when it iced out, and I think it was Amy and Jason still rode. I think they still skated the streets. I don't know what they did.
They should have. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've been in every one. We started with Clifton. We started with the Crew de Cliff Temple. And everybody's like, why are you spelling it with a K? I was like, well, that's what you do in New Orleans. I mean, I'm from the South. Like, we grew up with Mardi Gras. We knew that. I'm from South Mississippi. Like, this is how
you know it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, love that whole culture and stuff. And I'll make sure we have the dates for our Mardi Gras gala.
Good.
So you guys can make sure to show
put it in the show notes.
We'll promo that. But yeah, man, when I looked at Mardi Gras gala that we had, and I went with our friends at Track 15 who are right next door. Shout out to Andrew and Chris and Jess and Ashley and all our friends and Joel and all those guys. Love y'all. When I looked at our data from it and we're going over, like, where are our donors from? It was like 70% from Oak Cliff. Nobody from Oak Cliff was really donating to Brother Bill's 8 years ago. It was really humbling to me. Like, it really is like, man, these people love me. These are my friends. They support what I'm doing.
They've got behind you.
Golly, I was just floored, It was great. So when I first started understanding this idea of community in Oak Cliff, it was really they started at the church level, and then it just branched out. I realized, there's so many cool people here. I remember, Matt Spillers gave me the keys to Eno's. Literally gave me the keys and said, hey, take your brew club upstairs, man. Y'all can brew beer. This is probably completely illegal, but I'm sure it's passed.
Statute of limitations.
100%.
Exactly.
But
100%.
We're upstairs in Eno's. We brewed beer downstairs on that big, huge, whatever range it is. Like, I brewed it there. Then we fermented it upstairs. And the unfinished part, which now is the whole, restaurant.
Yeah.
There. And
that's incredible.
And I started, and we had a community around that. And it was people that didn't come to church with me, didn't come to church. And people were just like, oh, brewing is so cool, man. And then I just started, understanding, what it meant, whether we were playing softball or whether we were going out to eat, and whether this place is different. This place is cool. This place is community focused. I grew up in the rural South, and I grew up where, people would just drive up in our driveway, and they're like, oh, how you doing? Mom said, oh, well, here's dinner. I mean, so I understand hospitality. And hospitality is something that's big at Brother Bill's. And, man, I saw the hospitality in the restaurant scene here that's still pervasive to this day. But it started out of come eat at my house. My house is your house. Yeah. It's very familial, very communal. Where I started seeing it even more is when when I left the church, and I was like, I love Cliff Temple Baptist Church. It's my home church. But I was like, I got to separate for a little while. And so we went to church in Arlington. My wife was working in Arlington. Kids were in school in Arlington. And we were living kind of southwest of Dallas. You could be right by Mountain Creek Lake by DBU. Right off Keast. And so, kind of Oak Cliff, but not really. It's kind of a no man's land out there. You're 20 minutes from everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we went out to that church for a while, and just, great people out there. We love those folks out there, but it's just hard to have community when you weren't in proximity.
Yeah.
And I think proximity is a big thing that I've learned, and I'll tell you about that in a second. However, when I got out there, and my daughter made a profession of faith, she wanted to be baptized, wanted me to baptize her. Thankfully, the pastor let me do it. In the audience were probably 20 or 30 members of Cliftonville Baptist Church that lived in Oak Cliff that skipped church that day. Sorry, Pastor. And came and watched my daughter be baptized.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That is so
That's
cool.
great.
And that sacred, holy moment, and realizing the community was that it was something very different than I'd ever experienced. Fast forward, that part of that experience really was. And Y Guides. I got to shout out Y Guides. I don't know if you
Tell
guys...
us about it. Yeah. I'm coming into this
now,
at some point. I'm close. I'm close. I keep hearing about it.
We're no longer... Shout out to Chris Moffitt. During Chris Moffitt's term, if you know Chris Moffitt...
Yes.
He was Big Chief, and he decided that we were going to become a rogue nation. So now we're just Oak Cliff Nation. We're not affiliated with the YMCA anymore. And so... it was just so much fun.
That's the most Oak Cliff thing I've ever heard.
Oh, dude, yeah. We're Oak Cliff Nation.
Yeah.
And so I started meeting all these dads who were also leaders in Oak Cliff, and these campouts. I'm just going to do a little public service now. If you are a father in Oak Cliff and you have kids, take them to this.
Yeah.
Father-daughter time is... we just don't get enough of that in our society, and I feel like it's really important for dads to connect with their kids. And it was a beautiful time for me to also connect with other men.
Yeah,
I met all my friends through Oak Cliff Nation. There's no doubt. I met almost everyone. The church and Oak Cliff Nation, two places I met all my friends, especially guys my age who were going through the same thing, same teachers, same grade, whatever. And it's just a beautiful time. Kids run wild. We do 3 campouts a year. I had the privilege of being Big Chief a couple of years ago, and it's just a great time to connect with dads and understand the camaraderie that's here in our neighborhood.
Wes, for my own information, what age does that start?
Yes, so kindergarten.
Kindergarten, okay.
Through 5th.
There we go. I got
kindergarten through 5th grade.
That's great.
They may change it back to 4th. We had a COVID year that everybody missed out on, so we added a 5th grade. They may take it down.
Yeah.
Marcus Oldale will tell you he's our Big Chief right now.
Okay.
And so I really feel like, that learning all those, like, from my friend Alan Dye to like Matt Rosen, I already mentioned before, Grant Wood, who was Big Chief a little while ago, Jeremiah Leffler, again, Chris Moffitt, Manny Valencia, like all these guys, Grant Kirchhoff, all these guys that they're Big Chiefs of this group, and it's like, I don't know, man. It's hard to put into words.
Yeah, the community aspect.
The real
of
community.
It, yeah.
So we moved back to Oak Cliff, and actually one of those campouts, I hung out with one of my buddies for a while, and a house was for sale right next to his house. And I came back from the camp, and I said, Beth, put an offer on the house. She goes, well, it's already sold. I was like, dang it. And so then shout out to Kay Wood. She was our realtor, and she helped us find the house that we live at on Clinton, and we can walk to the Kessler Theater, which is...
It's
really
awesome.
fun.
Is there anything better than that right there? That's pretty good.
But I remember moving to this house, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful moment walking in that house and knowing this is where we're going to be, we're going to live. And as we're moving in, a few months later, who shows up? But the whole community. We had movers, we paid movers or whatever. Like, I don't need your truck, and we'll pay for movers, but they came and helped us unbox.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was 20-something people showed up. Some dude walks down the road and goes, hey, are you, the Keyes? Is your Wes's wife? Yeah. Oh, okay, be right back. He goes and bakes a pie and brings it. You can't make that. That's where we live, right?
No, that's cool.
And the fact that people do love their neighbors, it's not just a cool throw pillow expression that's embroidered. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we have any. I have been in a lot of places other than the rural South where, like, that's the idea of hospitality group. Yeah. There's something here that makes people care about stuff.
Yeah.
And what's more is, in my role, I can see that care is not just insular. It's not just for a certain group of people. The care, the compassion, the love, the action, it moves on to help those who are less than, who are in need, who are needy, who are in poverty. Like, it's the least of these that are being helped and loved in our community, whether they're Christians or not or whatever. I feel like there's just a sense of caring for the other.
Yeah,
really, really pervades.
And
you were talking a second ago about proximity too, and just the importance of it. Tell me what you mean by that.
I'll never forget, we lived by DBU in this little hidden neighborhood called Capella Park, which is great, beautiful, gorgeous. It was like the last working farm in Dallas was still.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. And again, it's like right down Loop 12 or right down 408 at Keyes, like, right there, Mount Creek Lake. You know where it is, DBU.
Yeah.
We were 20 minutes from everybody. So while I was in Y Guides, while I was in everything else, what I realized is that people would have parties and they would say, oh, we should invite the Keyes. Or they would have like, they'd be riding their bicycle down their friend's house and have a beer and like, oh, wish Wes was here. He lives so far. And I kept like, I'm tired of missing out on all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being able to I can go walk to, a restaurant or something like that. And now I can go walk to Nova. I can go walk to Cannons. I can walk to PhD. I walk to Encina. We can walk to Joy Macaron. We can walk to the Kessler Theater. Yeah. I'm literally going to walk there tomorrow night to go hear Paul Cawthon.
We're going. We'll see you there.
Literally, my brother-in-law and sister come from Mississippi for this concert. So
that's awesome.
We'll see y'all. Hang out.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
I actually have already went to see him once, and 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
But that's just you can't like that. Your walkability. Yeah, I know. Jason Roberts talks about walkability a lot in terms of that, and I really feel like there's something about that proximity to the places where you live, work, pray, play. Like, man, there's something about that that's special.
Something that's right about it.
Right. I love it, and the idea of being, and also knowing your neighbors. Yeah. There's something about that. There's something really important about that. During church, I led a study called The Art of Neighboring. And it talked about like where you live, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a house, doesn't really matter. You should know the 8 neighbors around you. And it's a really important idea that why do you know those 8 neighbors around you? Well, because you need a cup of sugar, right? But also you need to cry on somebody. You need a beer. You need a glass of wine. You need somebody to pray with you. Like you need the neighbors and you need all those connections because you're going to be needed at one point too.
Right. And
if you don't have those connections that you can trust, like, man. So knowing your neighbors is super important.
That's definitely some of the joy of it is, like, getting your roots deeper and deeper and getting to know those people. I definitely feel like that's like a beauty in Oak Cliff is there's people who've been here for a long time. And, like, we're getting to know them more and more, and we've not been here for a good while. And so it's like, I feel like it only gets sweeter with more time.
It really does. What's so fascinating is Dr. Phil Berry and Karen Berry, they're great friends of ours, go to our church. And I'll never forget the first time I walked in to Clifton Baptist Church and somebody goes, "You're from Laurel, Mississippi?" And I was like, yeah. Like, well, Phil and Karen are from Laurel. I was like, no, they're not. It's like, this is such
not possible.
Impossible. No, it turns out Phil's dad was my dad's junior high principal in Laurel, Mississippi, and so they became fast friends, and they've been here forever, and they've been established, and they're just like a fixture in the neighborhood. Yeah, and I think about them, and I want to be Phil and Karen Berry one day.
That's awesome.
I want to be known for my love, for my compassion, for my giving back to the community. I want people to recognize me as a leader who gives a damn about the community. Yeah. And that is so important. This is a special, holy place that we have here. And we need to treat it as such.
Yeah. We've been given a lot. So it's like, how do you care for your neighbors? How do you
And it does take that commitment of like, nope, here's where I'm going to focus my attention.
Yeah.
You
for sure.
Have to exclude getting too big brained with like all your big vision.
Talk.
I know. There's something about narrowing in on your neighborhood.
It is. To be rifled, not shotgunned in this approach is really, really important. But in the helping space, like right now I'm a shotgun guy.
Yeah.
We talked about that, but in your connections, and you like find
your
out
network, the people you know.
You gotta find out what you're supposed to be doing and get in there. And people talk. I still don't know where Uptown is. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
When people say, "Oh, I don't know what Lower Greenville is because I've only stayed in Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to hear this podcast and think, "Wow, he's an idiot because he doesn't know Dallas." No, I don't. I know Oak Cliff.
We don't go north of the Trinity.
I don't. My car it sputters when it goes north of it. And I live down here. I eat down here. The other day, shout out to Chinzo's again. We went into Chinzo's 2 times in one day, And Beth was like, "Do you think people think this is weird?" I was like, "I think Chad is gone. It's just Vinny here now." So
we're in the clear.
But yeah, man, like this is where I live. This is where I work. This is where I play. Like my wife walks 3 minutes to work at Oak Cliff Pediatrics.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She walks to work.
That's awesome.
You can't. That's special.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
man. Well, Wes, thanks for coming on the show. Tell us what's next for Brother Bill, and also maybe where we can learn more about how to support Brother Bill.
Man. So thank you for asking so much. We are always fundraising. It never stops.
Yeah, that's part of the game.
That's part of how this all works and how we keep doing what we're going to do. The next thing that I'd love to invite all of your listeners to is on February the 7th, Brother Bill's will have its second annual Masquerade Mardi Gras Ball.
Yes.
Nice.
And last year was great. Raised a lot of money for our work, and we'd love to have you guys out there for that. Then also in the month of May, on May the...
Masquerade Ball's a great time. All of Oak Cliff just goes wild.
Great.
So it's great.
And we'd love to have you guys out. And on May 7th, we'll have our Brother Bill's clay shoot. Love to have guys out there and gals out there. My wife has gotten into clay shooting now. We sell it out every year, so you have to get on it early. It's really fun.
Nice.
But, the biggest thing coming up right now and the way that people can get engaged, I'm not sure when this podcast is going out, but in August 1st and 2nd, we have our back-to-school beach bash. We need volunteers for that. We'd love people to come out, give school supplies to folks. And everybody should know this date. September 18th is North Texas Giving Day. Do not forget it. We're going to have Jimmy from Encina cater us some tacos. Taco Divino will be there. We're going to be at the Nomad place right there on Clinton. So come out and have some tacos and come celebrate when we bust through our goal.
I love
That's
it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Man, that's going to be a great day.
We'll mark it on the calendar. Hopefully be there too.
Sure. Wes, thanks for your time, man. What a great day.
Grant, Doug, thanks for doing this. By the way, this is an important thing, and you guys are part of the next era of Oak Cliff.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Wes.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Hidden City. We hope you discovered something about Oak Cliff that you didn't know. If you enjoyed the show, I hope you subscribe to it on YouTube and then follow us on any of the podcasting platforms. Also, if you enjoyed it, please share with a friend, and thanks so much for tuning in.